In this demo, I'm going to introduce you to Boris RED 5 and show you how to use it to create transitions in Avid, Premiere, and Final Cut Pro. Okay, so here I am in Avid Media Composer to start. You can see that I've got some red effects applied to this timeline already. I've used it as a transition between these different clips. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to create a transition in RED 5 and apply it to other hosts. So we're going to start in Avid, but we're going to move around to Final Cut and Premiere. Okay, so let's start with this effect here. I think this is my favorite one. So let's go to a new timeline, relatively new. Well, it looks a little familiar, I suppose. Okay, so let's change the position here of the edit right there. Okay, good enough. And now let's apply RED 5. When you get RED 5, you get a filter as well as a transition, so you make sure you use the appropriate one. Gonna launch the user interface, and here we are, RED 5. Now, if you're used to RED in the past, you see some definite similarities and some differences. Like, for example, check this out. I can move these tabs around anywhere I want on the screen. Maybe I want this right here. Okay, but maybe I don't. There you go. Snap all home. I love that command. All right, and let's start with that effect now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is change the opacity of track 1. I'm going to enter animated mode so that whenever I change something, I create a keyframe. Okay, there we go. Nice cross dissolve effect already. I'm going to shorten that up a little bit. Now let's apply a BCC effect. RED comes with many different BCC effects. Check all these out. And in addition to that, you get new FEC filters too. In RED 4 we had FEC filters, but only about 14. Well, we've got more than twice that now, so check it out. Okay, let's apply a global effect. Let's do BCC glow. Global effect, glow, get it? Yeah. Okay, well, you don't have to laugh, that's okay. Now let's animate the glow effect. Again, we have animated mode enabled, so all I have to do is make changes. Also, check it out, on-screen controls in BCC effects, new in RED 5, also new in BCC 7, depending on which way you look at it. Okay, there we go. That's a nice intense glow, which comes up during the transition and then goes away. Very nice. Now, another great new feature of RED 5 is the ability to edit keyframes using a graph editor. So check this out. I've got glow selected here, so I'm seeing the keyframes there. And I can just change the interpolation of the keyframes by dragging on these handles here. I can change the main value right here, move it all around in time as well. So a lot of really convenient functions in this keyframe graph. I don't really need to use it for this effect. It's a very simple thing I'm doing, but it's another selling point of RED 5. Going back to Avid, you can see the nice glow dissolve transition there. I do want to add one more effect to it. I want to add a little lens flare, one of the new lens flares from BCC 7. One of the new lens flares, BCC Lens Flare Advanced. I'm going to load a preset. That's right, you also get all these presets with all the BCC filters. Let's put that about here. Going to make some changes to this as well. Going to turn on a stripe. Going to bring it down. Going to bring it way down. But we are going to animate the angle. And then we're going to take the whole damn thing and make sure it comes up from nothing and nothing. And then goes back to nothing. Okay, so another cool touch on the effect. This time it didn't quite line up with the window like it did before, but you know, you take and you give, whatever that means. Okay, so now we have a really cool transition recreated in RED 5. One more thing I want to do before I leave this session is I want to save this whole RED project. So I'm going to go to Save Project As, you know, New Lens Flare. Okay, doesn't really matter. The point is I saved it and I can open it in RED in anywhere else. So let's take a look at that. Let's visit this again in Premiere. Hey, and I'm back. Where'd you go? I went to Premiere, and here we are. Okay, so here it is, Red 5 in Premiere. Gonna go into custom mode again. And this is the default settings of Red. Again, nothing's changed, nothing's really happened here. Gonna zoom in a bit. Hey, what if we want the exact same effect that we had before? No problem. Let's just open that thing up. If I remember what I called it. I think it was like new lens flare or something. There it is. And whoa, check it out, the exact same effect. How does it look in Premiere? It looks the same as it did in Avid, depending on your preview settings, of course. But so there you have it, a perfect reproduction of the same effect using Red, which is one of the things that makes Red such a powerful tool, its ability to go across platforms. Okay, I could spend more time in Premiere, but now let's go to Final Cut, just to really push this point home. Hey, and here we are in Final Cut, our final destination for the demo. Okay, so we have nothing applied here yet. Let's put Red on some of these clips. Let's start with where we did before with the transition. And by now you can probably guess that it's going to look about the same as it did before, but guessing isn't good enough. Let's see it in action. Okay, so here's the same Red user interface. I should have realized last time that it actually saves the most recent project right here. Don't want to save those settings, and check it out. Here it is, that same transition we created before. It looks exactly like it did in terms of effects. The media is different, so it looks a little different, but a nice little transition there for Mr. Surfer dude. Okay, now let's go a little bit outside the transition box and do a filter effect. So I'm going to use Red 5 as a filter. Also note, I'm using it on a clip that has Red applied as a transition too, so we're really using Red to the max here. Red is everywhere. Okay, and it was shot on a Red camera. No, not really, but wouldn't that be funny? Okay, so we have this clip. Notice now it's just one clip in our timeline. Let me show you some of those cool FEC filters I was talking about. So here's FEC effects. Lens is a really cool one. Notice we have the on-screen controls here too. So I can change the size, convergence, a whole bunch of stuff I can change, all with the greatest of ease. Okay, so that was cool. Let's go back to resetting those controls. Oh, missed the video there. Okay, so let's reset all that. Let's load a preset. Okay, that's, whoa, I really like that one. Stumbled upon this by accident, but we're keeping it. So now we have this cool Red filter applied to a Red transition. A lot of neat stuff going on there. Okay, some of the other cool filters we have in Red 5. This one uses the BCC Smooth Tone filter. So I've zoomed in on this woman's face here so you can really see what it's doing. Change the preview quality a bit there. So Smooth Tone is like a digital makeup effect. So if I hide it, okay, you can see, oh, she's got freckles. She's human, but we can make her look more perfect than human. So let's turn that back on. Another cool thing about Smooth Tone is this compare mode, so you can actually see what the filter is doing before and after. Notice it's smoothing out her skin imperfections, but not, smoothing or blurring out her eyes or hair. Those are kept nice and sharp and detailed. So this is actually a really cool filter of its own, right? Find a good freeze frame there. Okay, so the settings here are pretty much, what they say, the radius, blur, cutoff, iterations, and applying back to host. There you have a nice smoothed up image in Final Cut. Another cool image restoration filter that we offer in Red 5 is the noise reduction filter. So we're going to take some of the noise out of the Capitol building, right? Yeah, if only we could. Okay, so this time, noise reduction has already been applied. Let's zoom in a bit and see how it looked before we had this filter on by using compare mode again. Oh my god, look at that. I swear, one instance of the filter took this footage from this to this. You can still see all the detailed contrast in the shadows, even in the reflection, but now it's not quite so noisy. So another great filter, which is new to you if you are in Red 5 or BCC 7. Again, the on-screen controls here. Apply back, and there we go. So there you have some of the new functions and features and filters of Red 5. Hopefully you liked what you saw here. It's a 64-bit plugin compatible. You can do a lot of other cool things with it. I didn't even get into extruded objects or motion tracking or any of that cloning fun stuff. So please investigate more on our website at borisfx.com.